Hello, hello, hello. Uh-oh. I don't see my bubble moving. Hmm. Hello? Hmm. Let's see. Hello? Hmm. Let's see. Microphone. Yeah, it's so why isn't it working? Hello, hello, hello. What's they been a day of issues? Let's see. It's plugged up. Let me refresh this. Let me type in here what's going on. All right, so now it's working. Good evening, Lit Lane Jury Box, and welcome back to Trial Watch with Demetra. We are in it for tonight as far as the Tennessee versus Finnegan, Sean Finnegan, the sex murder trial, the sex torture trial. We have made it to the end, the finale, the conclusion, the dundada. Tonight we're going to hear the verdict. Let me share this live. Good evening, Jill's Comfort Zone. Did you see where I reposted? Did you see where I reposted the live that you did with your candy canes? And I say, what else I need? Because I just did that a little bit ago. What I'm trying to do, oh, I need to share this live. Why it don't say live on my, why on my thing? But I see you just type yes, so that means I'm obviously still live. But on my phone, when I go to my channel, it look like the live is up. Okay, boom, there you go. That means I'm obviously still live, but child, you would have thought I just started doing YouTube the way my stuff been going here lately. Okay, let me say Little Lane Jury Box, we live. Sorry, Jill. Oh, no. I'm about to make a flower. Okay, and so I was gonna invite my people to do it too. And when you want to do it for? Because I got that. I got my charcuterie board challenge on the 14th. I mean, you ain't got to really, but I want to make sure I do it with you. I kind of want you to work with me as far as the timing because I do want to do it. You know what I'm saying? And you invited me, and you pretty much put me up to it. Okay. Lit Lane Jury Box, we live. But good evening, everybody. We waiting on everybody to get here. Lit Lane Jury Box, we live. So that's the only thing. And I meant to, I don't know what was going on when I was trying to tell you. Yeah, we have to work because I think I just missed saying that because in that chat we was talking back and forth, but then I got quiet for a minute. I don't know what I was doing, but I was still listening. Anywho, for some reason, I wanted to tell you, I can't remember that I typed it in, but my mind was to let you know the only thing is that charcuterie board thing, right? And that's on the 14th. So we'll figure that out. But yeah, when you make a flyer and stuff like that, then I'll post a flyer and that'd be so cute. That'd be cute. That'd be cute. That'd be cute. Girl, I'm all out of whack for my what's called vlogmas. Child. But I'm gonna keep doing it though. Hell, you know me. Just because I fall off track don't mean I won't get back on. I've been to jump back doing it on the 9th day. Lane jury box, where y'all at? Where y'all at? Because we got the verdict, and I found we got the verdict to watch tonight for this trial to finish it up, and I actually even found upload interview with one of the jurors from this trial. So we're gonna watch that. We're gonna watch the verdict. And I really, y'all just don't know. It was so hard for me, but I gotta be consistent and finish this one trial out. But I'll just wait. They got some stuff that happened today in a trial, in a court sentencing for the Woodpile murder or what have you. They had something happen today that's like TV status shit. It's like TV status stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, I cannot wait to watch it. Oh shit, am I Judge Demetra? Am I Lit Lane Judge Demetra? And y'all Lit Lane jury box. Maybe I need to get that cartoon off the Sims, what's her name? Crazilla. Well, she had me as the judge, girl. I gotta go back and find that video. Good evening, ladies still. I'm trying to give people a chance to get up in here. But Lady Steph, I was just telling you, man, you know, I'll be here for 2 hours. So if we get started, but I'm waiting for you know, Winter not here. I gotta give her a chance to get here. I gotta give Living a chance to get here. Like, you know, the people that just be here every day, I gotta give them a chance to be here. So man, in that trial that I told y'all that for 2025 we may watch it. And I was telling y'all a couple of times, like even during the last trial about the Woodpile murders, where this white older lady allegedly killed her husband, and they had money and everything, right? And supposedly, allegedly, she supposed to have put his body, killed him, shot him, and then put his body and burnt him up on a wood pile and everything. And I was telling y'all about how it was so messy because the family was up there testifying, all the different children. And there was a lot of rumors, a lot of lovers, a lot of affairs and money. Remember I was telling y'all that? So they finally found her guilty, right? And so today was her sentencing. And baby, it was like watching something on the movie. I ain't watch it. I just saw a little piece and I stopped watching it. But she started doing her sentencing when she finally said something. Baby, she said her son killed the man. Girl, it's like something off of TV, okay? And the son sitting up in there looking all crazy. I cannot wait to go back and watch that in full. I can't wait. So, okay, we gonna get started here, and when they come in, I'll rewind them.
All right, this jury's reached a verdict in this case. In just a moment, I'm going to bring the jury in and announce the verdict. I know I've got family members and friends and folks here. There can not be an outburst on this. Hard enough. We've all worked very hard. The district attorney's office worked very hard. Counsel has worked very hard for Mr. Finnegan. I cannot mess this up at this time by any outburst. If that's a point with you, you need to leave, please. All right? Okay. Thank you. Let's see if they open the door.
No, I was on time. Hey, Renee. I'm just not started. I just started it. I know, Lady Steph. And so I'm hoping between this verdict, the video of the juror giving their statement, we'll have time to watch that sentencing. It's going to be so interesting. I got to watch that. Hey, Rock and Renee, say hello. Hey, what you want? What you want?
Thank you. Have a seat, please.
Champ up in there with Reese. Apollo downstairs.
As I said, the jury's reached a verdict in this case. We, the jury, unanimously find the following listed statutory aggravating circumstances beyond a reasonable doubt.
Judge, slow down.
Slow down. 1, the murder was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, and they involved torture or serious physical abuse beyond that necessary to produce death. Number 3, The murder was knowingly committed, solicited, directed,
wait.
or aided by the defendant, while the defendant had a substantial role in committing.
Wait a minute. I think I was talking about the dogs. What is he doing? Reading the charges first? I'm sorry, y'all. I wasn't. Hold on. I'm be quiet. I'm gonna be quiet.
Torture or serious physical abuse. Beyond that, as I said, the jury has reached a verdict in this case. We, the jury, unanimously find the following listed statutory aggravating circumstances beyond a reasonable doubt. And they listed them specifically. 1, the murder was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, and they involved torture or serious physical abuse beyond that necessary to produce death. Number 3, the murder was knowingly committed, solicited, directed, or aided by the defendant, while the defendant had a substantial role in committing any rape and or kidnapping. And 4, the defendant knowingly mutilated the body of the victim after death. We, the jury, unanimously find the state's proven beyond a reasonable doubt that the statutory aggravated circumstances or circumstances so listed above outweigh any mitigating circumstances. Therefore, we, the jury, unanimously find the punishment for the defendant, Sean Shannon Finnegan, shall be death. So, ladies and gentlemen, I need to make sure every one of my jurors.
Oh, wow.
That's your verdict. So I'll do like I did
last time. Guilty.
Juror number 1, is that your verdict?
And sentenced to the death sentence.
Yes. Juror number 3.
Wow.
Juror number 4.
Yes.
Juror number 5.
Yes.
Juror number 6.
Yes.
Juror number 7.
Yes.
Juror number 8.
Wow.
Juror number 9.
Yes.
Juror number 10.
Yes.
Wow.
Juror number 11.
Yes.
And juror number 12.
Yes.
In just a moment, I'm going to excuse y'all. If y'all can hang around a few moments.
Damn, I didn't think they were going to sentence him to
I
death.
won't talk anything specific about the case, but I would like to share with you for just
And
a
I
moment.
must didn't watch the
If you'd be
verdict
more
when it was
comfortable in
going
the other
on.
big room, that'd be great. Whatever y'all get to decide,
Wow.
wherever you'd like to go. But if you can hang on for just a few minutes, I've got some additional work I need to do, and then we'll go from there. Okay? All right, everybody rise, please.
Damn, so he get death and Rebecca didn't get nothing but life. Wow. You can blow me over with a feather right now. I got glue all on my hand. I really didn't see that going that way. I mean, I saw him being guilty. I saw him getting life in prison. I did not see them giving him the
Take a seat.
Hey,
Mr.
Winter.
Finnegan, you can stand up, please, sir, with your attorneys. Upon the verdict, the jury find you, Sean Shan Finnegan, to be guilty of murder in the first degree as charged in the indictment. Upon further verdict of fixing the punishment of death, it is therefore ordered that you shall be put to death by lethal injection in the mode prescribed by Tennessee law pursuant to the provisions of Tennessee Code annotated 40-23-114. You'll be transferred to the custody of the warden of the state penitentiary at Nashville, Tennessee, pending appellate review. Thank you. Have a seat, sir.
Wow.
And then also I'm going to sign the order that as the 13th juror, I accept and approve the sentencing and the verdict rendered by the jury. Anything else from the state that I need to take care of?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else from the defense? Yes.
Oh,
Right.
Winter, for
Let's
real?
go recess. All rise, please.
Damn. I really did not expect for him to get the death sentence because I felt like it was enough reasonable doubt about who actually unalived the victim. I thought that the what is called the defense did a good job doing reasonable doubt. Not about him being involved, but the level of it, or by himself. Lady self say the way these things go, he'll probably be waiting for you. Yeah, he probably be alive another 30 years. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the rate that Tennessee. Now Texas, you're not finna sit. No, that's a lie, because I happen to know for a fact is people been sitting on Texas death row for over 20 years, 25 years. But that's not common. You know what I'm saying? That's not common. So I'm just absolutely shocked. So Lady Steph is shocked. Winter, not Lady Steph. And Renee was like, I didn't see that happening. What did Lady Steph say? She said she'd probably be there for a long time waiting. Winter was on hush mode. And Renee say Judge Ash had a glow on his dome. I didn't think that was going to happen like that. Let me see here. I saw where they had an interview with a juror. from this case, and they got the juror blacked out right here. It's a female. Let's see. And I thought that would be interesting to see.
New tonight, we are hearing from a juror in the Sean Finnegan death penalty trial for the first time. Finnegan was convicted of first-degree murder, rape, kidnapping, and abuse of a corpse in the death of Jennifer Paxton. His trial was back in August, and jurors decided he should get the death penalty.
10 News reporter Ellis Roll joining us now. And Ellis, you covered the trial. You spoke with the juror about her experience. What does she have to say?
Brittany, Robin, this woman says serving on this jury was the hardest thing she's ever had to do. Now, jurors aren't named or photographed during a trial, so we respected her request to remain anonymous.
It was a lot. I just didn't know. I didn't think they were going to give him death.
Jennifer did not get any mercy, and whatever punishment he gets is going to be a lot easier than what she got.
12 Anderson County jurors sentenced Sean Finnegan to death in August for the gruesome murder of Jennifer Paxton. Now, one of those 12 is sharing her story.
I don't think we really realize that this is real, that these things happen.
She says seeing photos of Paxton's body was one of the hardest parts of the trial.
I couldn't want to see it.
The state said Paxton was severely tortured and suffered hundreds of injuries.
We had a juror cry. My hand went to my mouth. It was terrible. That's what sticks with me the most.
Welcome to the lane, jury box.
Emotion sticks with her too.
I just thought his eyes were so dead. There was nothing, no remorse, no feeling.
Y'all said that several times. Little lane, jury box.
All 12 jurors have to be in agreement on all of the charges and the death penalty.
There was a few big personalities.
Oh, I'm gonna copy that little screen thing.
We spoke to another male juror who didn't want to be on camera. He says the jury knew they had to keep Jennifer in their hearts.
Betty Boo, they found him guilty, girl. Sentenced him to death.
The female juror says the experience was emotional.
It's the hardest thing I've done. The mental stuff that we had to go through, just all of it, I would say I don't recommend it.
But despite those hardships, she says justice was served.
We just hope that we were able to bring a little bit of peace to the family.
Now, Finnegan was sentenced to death in August for the murder charge, but he will be sentenced by a judge for his other crimes in this case in November. You can read more from our interview with this juror online at WBIR.com. Brittany, Rob.
That reporter real cute. So that's from the juror. Like Lady Steph say, sincere. I'm finna talk about what you're talking about. Lady Steph say all the jurors probably need therapy after all that. I cannot imagine actually being in the courtroom. I couldn't either, right? And I wonder if they even ask you after something like this, hey, do you need services? Do you need resources? Do you think you might? I wonder if they do that, right? How they gonna have you come do your public service and then traumatize you and just leave you traumatized, right? Betty Boop, I was telling you, welcome back to the Little Lane jury box, girl. They didn't found him guilty. They didn't sentence him to death by injection, lethal injection. Went to say there are things we didn't see or even hear. And I wonder, because of the gruesomeness of this particular case, is that why they didn't show any of the evidence, right? So Sincere say, hey, Demetra, girl, I know you're doing your trial watch, but did you see or did you hear about K Fit serving Dovey court papers? Well, this is trial watch with Demetra, baby. That means we're gonna trial watch that too, okay? And I was over there at Brianna's, and I did in fact see that when they made that announcement and everything. The judge, I'm going to go back to the sentencing. So I need to actually I'm going to try to pull the court documents. So that's in North Carolina, right? I think that's in North Carolina. Let me know whether that's in North Carolina, y'all. And girl, I did not know Dobie was on the phone with Brianna and them. Girl, everybody's on the phone with everybody around this bitch. I'm the only one who not behind the scenes with people. Which is the way I want it. But sometimes I'll be like, damn, No wonder people leave me out of shit. I'm not involved behind the scenes like they are. Everybody connected to everybody, connected to everybody, connected to everybody. You know what I'm saying? And it's just it never ceases to amaze me just how deep that connection goes. That's probably why it's not no real beef sector 2. How you gonna really beef with people and everybody connected to everybody, connected to everybody, connected to everybody, right? So it's whatever. Girl, they don't stay off them phones. What's up? Jill talking about not me. Emma J ain't staying off the phones. Sincere say not her either. So let's go back to, we just looked at that. Let me go back to the sentencing, the verdict. Reese, close my door and cut the TV down just a little bit. Please. Thank you. Hold on, let's go back. Now let's go back to see if he gonna speak. Cause it look like he about to say something right there.
We, the jury, unanimously find the following listed, directed, or aided by the defendant while the defendant had a substantial role in committing any rape and or kidnapping. And 4, the defendant.
We saw that part.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need to make sure every one of my jurors that's your verdict. So I'll do like I did last time. Juror number 1, is that your verdict, sir?
Yes. Okay, he's
Juror
polling
number
them.
5.
Yes.
Juror number, in just a moment,
Okay.
specifically about the case, but I would like to share with you for just a moment. If you'd be more comfortable in the other big room, that'd be great. Whatever, y'all get to decide wherever you'd like to go. But if you can hang on for just a few minutes, I've got some additional work I need to do, and then we'll go from there. Okay? All right, everybody rise, please. Thank you. Y'all excused.
I am Renee. No, got served because they try to K-Fit try to do a restraining order on her, on Dovey girl. Okay, I'm gonna look for it.
Take a seat. Mr. Finnegan, you can stand up, please, sir, with your attorneys. Upon the verdict, the jury find you, Sean Chan Finnegan, to be guilty of murder in the first degree as charged in the indictment. Upon further verdict of fixing the punishment of death, it is therefore ordered that you shall be put to death by lethal injection.
Ooh, that sounds so
in the mode
horrible.
prescribed by Tennessee law pursuant to the provisions of Tennessee Code annotated 40-23-114. You'll be transferred to the custody of the warden of the state penitentiary at Nashville, Tennessee, pending appellate review.
Right, you want to get
Thank
knocked
you. Have
out?
a seat, sir. And then also I'm going to sign the order that as the 13th juror, I accept and approve the sentencing and the verdict rendered by the jury. Anything else from the state that I need to take care of?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else from the defense? Yes. All right, we'll stand in recess. All rise, please.
Hold on, y'all. My son ignoring me and the dog. All right, so, oh no, so he's not gonna say nothing. Is he crying? Maybe that's just his face. Yeah, I don't got it. They got it on mute on their side. Oh, I feel bad for him because he got the death penalty. You know, not that I feel bad for him because I believe in the death penalty, right? I believe in the death penalty. However, just because I believe in the death penalty don't mean I like the death penalty, right? So, Lady Self say he looked like he in utter belief. Right. I never would have thought that he would have got, based on last night, you couldn't have told me that they was going to sentence him to death. Now, I know he was going to get found guilty. How the hell he wasn't going to be found guilty? But sentence death? You know what I'm saying? So Lady Self and Jill say he looked completely just shocked. Like, how in the hell this happened to me? Why y'all going to exile me from the jury box? What I did? I must have did something. What I did? What? How you gonna exile me from the jury box? Now, Lady Steph, you made me judge Demetra 15. It was all good about what 20 minutes ago. So this is the end of this case, State of Tennessee versus Sean Finnegan. When I come back on, because y'all know I don't do I don't do lives on Friday nights. So when I come back Monday evening for Trial Watch with Demetra, we're gonna watch some arrests react. We're gonna do some arrest actions, some sentences. We're gonna do everything involving crime. Well, you know, it ain't no excuses from jury duty on this name jury box. Oh, because I said I feel bad, but I hate guilty as hell. Yeah. Before I go to the next thing, I also yesterday, a couple of the jurors expressed the interest, and it was my intention to let us see the testimony from when they were putting the stickers on the mannequin, right? And so it would be remiss of me not to show that, excuse me, to you guys. Let me see. It's not day 6. I think it's I think it's this one. Let's see. When they put all them red marks on the on that sticker representing the victim, I really wanted to see that. And I know yesterday a couple of folks, they wanted to see it too, asked about it. So let's find that real quick.
To one for me. All right. Okay. Everybody right.
Let me see. I just played it before I came on here. Is this it? This is verdict watch, so it's before it is. Day 5, day 4. I think it's day 3. Hold on, y'all. I'm on the other screen. I think this is it. Let's see.
And then signature on second page.
Okay, so
They look at the information
for examiner,
and they're not additionally identifying.
Okay, so they talking without the jury in there right now. All right, you guys.
Okay. You bring our jury in, please.
Hey, Resto Chesto. Oh, ain't you that person they be talking about? Welcome to the lane. What's up, Tiki? When you snuck in here? That's what's up. Thank you. Hit the like, please. Okay. Betty Boop say, I asked Google, does the court offer mental health services to jurors for a trial like this? They do in Alaska and Texas, while most courts do not routinely do that. Okay, thank you, Betty Boop, for the research in that. That's good to know. I can't see this judge not being sympathetic to a jury after this. Winter says, I wonder if he was given the opportunity for a plea deal for life in prison without possibility of parole. Mm-hmm. Lady Stuff say, Betty Boop, it should be offered in all states after all they do in their public duty. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. What's up, CEO? Little Boss Lady, good evening. Welcome to the Lane Jury Box.
And the way it works best is when we have police officers that really care and take time.
Hold on. Pause. Let me catch up on these comments. Excuse me. Demetra, a pharmaceutical company, is saying that they did not make their drugs for death and are saying that they are trying to pull them off for produce. Oh no, that's been going on for a while, Renee. That's what halted a lot, more than one state. It's happening more than one state, whereas they was saying that and complaining about the deal. That's why it's more than one state. Well, they held up the death penalty because they was having a problem with that. Either the companies was having this problem where they say it wasn't manufactured for that, and then in some other cases they was having a problem with the lethal injection because it was failing to work effectively. So it had two different things going on, whereas in the states that do lethal injection. Hold on, my son will not cut this football down. Hold on. All right, baby, it's Thursday night football. Welcome back. I mean, POP, hold me down, Tiki. What's up, Sassy? Good evening. Yeah, Tiki, they found him guilty and gave him the death penalty. By death by lethal injection. And right now, you guys, we're going back to the medical examiner so we can see her testimony. And let me go close my door. Let me go close my door.
With people being sequestered. And it looks like to me they're doing that. And so if you'll tell them I recognize them and told them I appreciate their efforts on taking care of y'all. Because I think they're really dedicated to that, and I appreciate that. All right, our next witness.
Good call, Demetra Melissa.
If you'll step up here next to me, please.
I couldn't believe it, Tiki, quite honestly. I believe guilty, but I didn't think they was going to do death penalty.
You raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So if you got it.
I do.
If you have a seat, please. If you'll state both your first name and last name and spell them both for me.
Good afternoon. My first name is.
The judge don't even let them sit down good.
Inka. My last name is Milusnik-Polchan. Milusnik is spelled Mileusnic, and Polchan is Polchan.
And Doctor, I think that microphone that's in front of you can be pulled up a little bit towards you. You weren't projecting much.
That's why I was going to ask that if you'll speak up in that microphone, that'll help all of us here.
She's a little tiny woman.
Where are you employed?
I am employed by
she's
Knox
a
County
liar,
Regional
though.
Forensic Center. I'm the chief medical examiner for Knox and Anderson counties, and also the chief staff pathologist for the Regional Forensic Center.
Okay, and the Regional Forensic Center is the medical examiner's office?
That's correct.
Tell the members of the jury, what is a medical examiner?
So in the state of Tennessee, medical examiner is a physician who is appointed by the mayor and then approved by the county officials, for example, commissioners, to perform the duties of the medical examiner. Medical examiner oversees the medical legal death investigation, and it's a county-based system in the state of Tennessee. So I've been appointed to be the medical examiner. It's a 4-year appointment, medical examiner for Knox County and Anderson
y'all
County.
already know. I gotta get
The state of
disciplined if I'm gonna be
Tennessee
doing
has
this type of
been-
content.
Category on the death certificate, and that's the manner.
Hold on. Okay.
From medical field, and joined the pathology program at Loyola University Medical Center.
Girl, she's still
You're
giving
here
her
to give, your opinion today, or
I'm sorry, I went past her
about the
credentials.
cause and manner
Okay.
of death?
Yes, my opinion.
Okay. In addition to your opinion about the nature of the wounds in this case and the nature, number, and types of wounds in this case, you're here to give your opinion?
Yes.
We would.
Okay, Tiki. I put a star. I'm pinning this in the StreamYard, right? This comment here. A couple of y'all comments, I'm pinning them so we can do a all in out discussion about them. Y'all bringing up some good points.
Tendered Dr. Melusinek is an expert in forensic pathology.
I'd like to voir dire on this issue. Kyle, or give her opinion.
Okay, Dr. Melusinek, we're getting to the autopsy of Jennifer Paxton. Do you recall the specifics of her body's entry into the medical examiner's office and what specifically needed to be done before an autopsy could be conducted?
Yes, when she came, actually, we had to wait a couple of days to allow her body to actually thaw because it was frozen.
Okay, and how do you go about that?
She had to thaw out.
So it's a slow process because it has to be, the individual has to be kept refrigerated in order to allow the process to take slow pace. Otherwise, the tissue would deteriorate really rapidly if we just left her at the room temperature or under any heater. So it took several days for that to happen. And the autopsy was then finally done on August 10th, 2020, which happened to be the day that Dr. Oliver was assigned to do the autopsies.
Okay. And to cut to the chase in this, with regard to her time of death, tell the members of the jury whether or not, based on her body's condition, would you ever be able to determine a time of death?
Unfortunately not. So in the autopsy report, that's not just only this case, but in many situations, the time of death is going to be the time where our medical legal death investigators arrives to the scene and then formally pronounces death. And in the state of Tennessee, that can be done by the physicians in the emergency rooms, the hospitals. And then when it comes to the scenes, that's going to be frequently the medical legal death investigator. So we go by that date and time.
Okay. Is there any way that you can tell if a body's frozen, if it's been days, months, years?
Unfortunately not, because her body was deeply, thoroughly frozen, so that was impossible to tell.
And doctor, the final anatomic diagnoses in the case, did you form an opinion about what those were?
Yes.
And what were the final anatomic diagnoses?
Although there were many different types of injuries on Jennifer's body, the main cause of death was actually strangulation, asphyxia due to strangulation, and the type was actually ligature strangulation. The manner of death was homicide.
Okay. And did you also notice multiple blunt trauma?
Yes. In addition to the strangulation, there are many instances of blunt and sharp force injuries.
Okay. And did you also note incised wounds, multiple incised post and perimortem wounds?
Yes. The number of wounds actually was too hard to count. There were multiple. And most of them appear to be what we call.
Wow. It's always a trip when they say the number of wounds was too large to count. There's so many wounds they could not count. Right? But they didn't call Mama Base. They didn't call anyone. They didn't call anyone. The defense didn't call NT1.
Called perimortem.
Too many wounds to count.
Perimortem means that there is looks like a vital reaction around them that happened as she was dying.
Hey, Silky Black, they found him guilty and gave him the death
penalty.
Vital
reaction around these wounds, sharp force injury. Therefore, that happened after she was already deceased and there was no more circulation in the body.
Does that make sense to you with your first cause of death, the ligature strangulation, that the wounds would be perimortem and postmortem? How does that make sense to you as a medical examiner?
So as far as the strangulation, that was definitely what we say antemortem, meaning she's alive when strangulation occurs because the ligature furrows on her skin are deep, show vital reaction. Of course, now there's discolored because of the freezing artifact. And also there is a hemorrhage in the tissue.
I tried to look up I tried to Google to find out any information or any news articles after the fact about his mother. Nothing came up. But hey, I mean, you never know how long somebody's gonna live, right? But at the time of the crime, we found out yesterday that his mom was 80 something. And they waited almost 5 years before this trial happened. So not just saying necessarily she had to be deceased now, but hey,
under the skin. So the tissue, the muscle under the skin, there actually, as we do layered dissection of the muscle and soft tissue, there's hemorrhage. Hemorrhage means she was alive. There was circulation, blood circulating through her
Remember, I say
body.
Mama Bates being shunned in the nursing home. Nobody want to be with her at the table.
That's her cause of death. There were a couple of other injuries on the body.
That ain't funny. That's messed up.
What we call vital reaction bleeding. One of them was in incision or
sharp
force injury on her left neck. There was actually blunt force injury, laceration on her forehead, one on the forehead and one actually on the back of the head. The rest of the sharp force injuries were harder to categorize. And that's why for most of them, I would agree with the description that they would be perimortem, meaning she's dying and circulation is not as vigorous and leaving hemorrhage in the tissue, or clearly postmortem, there is no more circulation happening, and that just so happened that this cut in the tissue is going through the layers of the skin, subcutaneous tissue, even to the muscle, but there's no bleeding whatsoever, so that's clearly postmortem.
And does the fact that there's a ligature, we got perimortem wounds, many of them that are potentially perimortem and postmortem, does that give you any time to estimate how long it took to inflict these injuries?
It was so anything that is postmortem, it was hard to tell because it can happen at any given time during the period before the individual starts undergoing decomposition changes. And it doesn't seem to be that her body was in the process of decomposition prior to being frozen. So that's why it was hard to tell whether it was day 1 or day 2 after she was deceased. One thing that we can also rely upon is distribution of lividity. Lividity is the settling of the blood in the kind of lower or lower parts of the body. If the individual is flat, it's going to be throughout the back. If the individual is sitting, it's going to be mainly in the kind of buttocks, gluteal region, feet maybe, depending on what's all the way down against the ground or the surface where the body is resting. So it seems that based on the distribution of her lividity on her body was already in kind of like that sort of sitting fetal position when the lividity was settling. So that means that all the postmortem injuries happening during that first period of settling of the blood in the body and before decomposition sets in. So I would give several days. How many days? It really depends on what the temperature in the residence is. If it's too warm, it can be only a day or 2. If it's relatively cool in the 60s and 70s, it can take actually 3 or 4 days before decomposition sets in. So that really depends on the temperature in the surrounding environment.
So may I understand you correctly is that Jennifer deceased, when she's deceased, her body would have been X number of days before it was frozen based on the observations you made?
That's correct.
And that depends on the temperature inside the wherever she was?
That's correct. For example, if it's in the 80s, I would give her a day or 2. If it's in the 60s, it can be up to 4 days. So it all really depends on the environment.
Okay. But can you make an opinion about whether or not she was immediately frozen, or was there a buffer time where her body definitely, where she lay in state, so to speak, deceased?
So I would say that it had to be before her body became completely rigid. And for the individual to become completely rigid following that, with all the muscles becoming really hard to break and joints to fold, again, that would take a couple of days. So she had to be put in that position to fit in the freezer before rigidity completely set in.
Okay. And so a couple of days.
Couple of days, right? Yes.
Okay. May I approach you, Honor? Doctor, what I'm handing you is 45, 46, and 47. And if you just identify.
No, she was dead,
exhibit number 45.
Silky Black. She was deceased.
Exhibit 45 is an accurate copy of the autopsy report signed electronically by Dr. Oliver. And it consists of 10 pages. And it seems like all pages are here. Exhibit 46, that's the toxicology report. That's based on the blood that we actually obtain following at the time of the autopsy. Again, the presence or ability to actually draw femoral blood from the body that was actually thawed after being frozen is telling us that the postmortem interval was probably a couple of days, not much longer than that, because that's why we're able to get that liquid fluid blood from her vein. So that came back positive for morphine. And then since there were some questions regarding the source of morphine, but it was actually morphine that she took, or possibly heroin, because heroin metabolizes, breaks down into morphine. I actually ordered a recent test that was conducted recently, I believe. I don't recall the date when I requested it. It was issued and signed July 30th, 20. So in July, actually, in order to answer that question, we did retain one of the specimens, which was bile, and bile would contain some of the breakdown products of heroin, possibly. So I ordered additional tests this past July on bile, and that came back positive for morphine. So it's confirmatory there was morphine in the system, but we didn't find any other breakdown products. So the chance that morphine came from heroin actually was less likely.
Okay, and can you give an estimate based on the amount when she would have ingested morphine prior to her death?
That's actually hard to tell because it's quite a bit of morphine. It's 85 nanograms per milliliter in the femoral blood, and it's 4,500 nanograms per milliliter in bile. So it really depends how much was taken. So it's hard to tell whether it was an hour or several hours prior to her dying. So whatever she had in the system when she died pretty much stayed stable, partly because she was frozen too. And then we also saved those specimens, preserved them in a proper manner. So whatever it's in the body at the time of death is pretty accurate, but I cannot really tell with certainty how much she took and when she took it.
How would we as people react with that amount of morphine in our blood?
Well, with 85 nanograms per milliliter, I would be dead, but because I don't take any morphine. But morphine users or heroin users can develop tolerance, actually quite a bit of tolerance. So, so that person would live and even possibly maybe act fine because of the tolerance that she or he developed after a long-term use of morphine or heroin. So
Okay.
it's hard to really predict how she would have reacted because I don't really, I know that she had drug use issues, but I'm not really sure how consistent her use of morphine was.
Okay, and to be clear, it was actual morphine that was given. She was in her system.
Yeah, this test actually consistent with her.
Welcome back, Living. They found him
And
guilty
is that,
and sentenced him to the
in
death
consideration of
penalty.
the injury she sustained.
We went back to
does
watch
that,
the medical
alter
examiner.
in any way what you think about how it would affect her being a heroin user?
No, this is really independent of her cause and manner of death.
Okay, and regard to the autopsy report, we would move that in as
Oh,
number
feel better, Living.
45. The secondary report would be 46, would be the original toxicology.
Original toxicology, yes.
And 47 would be the supplemental toxicology. We'd move 45, 46, and 47 in.
Yes.
Pass that to the court, please. Yes, sir.
Okay, doctor, with regard to, we've already talked about this, 3 different types of injuries that you noted. You said ligature, you said inside wounds, and you said blunt trauma, right?
Yes.
Okay, if I could have her, when she explains the injuries, show on the mannequin here, and we can put markers on the mannequin where the injuries are, and she can explain.
All right, here we go with the mannequin, y'all.
Doctor, if you wouldn't mind stepping down and.
Lady Self say, so since she had morphine in her body, I wonder how much of the torture she actually felt. I guess it doesn't matter, but I don't know. She probably felt a lot of it because she had, I think the morphine was a breakdown from the drugs she was using. And like she
For the
just
record,
said,
we're
if
gonna
you
be
use
using
them
just
regular,
fish pins
your
with,
tolerance
red
high.
markers on them to where, when the doctor describes the first injury, she's going to go in order.
And you
then,
got to remember, you can
put a
get
push
high
pin
in
where
the drugs of
location
your
of the injury
body,
is and then
but
describe
then
it.
the high is
And
gone.
then at the
Just like
conclusion,
weed. If I smoked weed
we
last
take a
week,
picture of it, so
it's
we
still
can
in
make
my
that
body, but I'm not
visible.
still
We can
high.
do that. We'll probably
You know?
use it in closing argument, or yes, we can take it.
I just had a
Okay,
picture
let's
so
watch
the
these
appellate court
injuries.
to review it as well.
We can do that.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, doctor, if you want to. Go ahead. Go ahead with your first first noted injury.
Your
Are you-
Honor, with your permission, I'll just go by the report.
Yes, ma'am.
So what, how we tend to actually classify the injuries for easy follow-up is divide them by the type of injury. The first category was blunt force trauma. The sharp force injury. The second category was the strangulation, and then the third category was the blunt force trauma. So the sharp force injury, actually, we went in anatomic order. Pathologists in general go in anatomic order to describe the trauma. That does not mean that that's the order how all of these injuries happen. It's just that anatomically is easy to follow. So the first was actually described as a sharp force injuries, broad area of oblique incised wound over the left maxilla. So there was a large area of the left maxilla. If this is the nose, that would be in this region. There was a very irregular cutout. So we called it like a sliced or incised injury that pretty much involved the maxilla, part of the temple, actually even part of the eyelids, and it was very irregular. That particular wound was up to 4 inches in size and actually did not show any vital reaction. So that would be in the category of perimortem / postmortem trauma, meaning that her circulation is not active anymore and possibly she's already deceased. There was actually similar injury that involved the left ear. And that part of the ear was actually absent. So there were a couple of areas that appeared like that.
Damn, they cut off her ear?
Large and substantial, that part of the skin and subcutaneous tissue was not present, was missing. However, with the decedent, we did have several pieces of small to medium sizes pieces of skin, subcutaneous tissue, and even a little bit of touch muscle that we could match to some of these sliced or incised injuries on the body. Then there is an interesting injury, and that is the nose. Now, this was actually different than many other incised injuries that I'll address on her body, because it appeared to be postmortem. There is no vital reaction, and it's a very nice, precise cut through the cartilage. So it's lower than the bone, and it's through the cartilage, and it's beautiful, regular cut that cut out the kind of like a 10 of the nose. The nasal bridge was completely gone. It's very regular. It was almost kind of, looks like a by design. But on top of that, there was actually a couple of incised cuts that were actually subsequent to the nose being removed. So I put two different cuts here. So there were oblique, diagonal, deep cuts that went all the way to the bone. And then there was the incised wound that was the only, there were a couple of incised wounds in the body that showed some vital reaction. And this is one that was in the area of the ligature to the left of the midline. It was a relatively deep wound. It went all the way to the trachea. It did not penetrate into the trachea, but it went through all the muscle, skin, subcutaneous tissue, muscle, all the way to the trachea.
Damn, that's deep.
That was surrounded with hemorrhage. The
absolutely
was,
he did.
Would this hemorrhage be elicited by the strangulation first, and then the wound happens? And I would say that actually she was actively bleeding from that wound, because in some of the photographs you'll see there was actually dry blood on her face and on her hands. So she was bleeding from some of these wounds. And the only wound that could bleed like that, that has the vital reaction around it, that's this particular incised wound on the neck. And then right below that, lower down, there's another incised wound on the lower neck, kind of slightly diagonal.
So, doctor, you're saying with those wounds, her throat was slit?
So yeah, the throat was actually slit, and the size of that wound was actually over almost 2 inches. So these are the wounds that are in the head area. In the back, actually,
yeah, they need to fry his ass.
Areas, and I'll take 3 of these pins. There is a slicing. So slicing meaning that instead of the cut like this, we have like a tangential sliced off kind of piece of skin. So there is the wound that is on the left upper back. So there's a slice injury on the left upper back, not far from the midline, and then there's one lower down. So there are kind of sliced, meaning a piece of skin and subcutaneous tissue is missing.
I had a brain
And
fart
then
at that
there is
moment. I'm back
also
to
slicing
reality.
injury on the lower back, and that would be in the midline. And we see one of the photographs right here. And there is also the slicing injury over the right gluteal region. Now, in the gluteal region right here, we're going to see some outline of kind of freezer burns and abrasions, and they're partially overlapping and kind of hiding a little bit of this injury over the right buttock area, but that's the back. And then we have left upper extremity. So on the left upper extremity, actually, we have a very large area on the shoulder that is it is a cutout, and it didn't show any vital reaction. And then similar to that, actually, right below that, there was a larger area. And that larger area was very irregular. I call those areas and cutouts and sliced injuries with kind of geographic pattern, meaning that there is no particular regular pattern to it. It's kind of irregular geographic pattern. This is consistent. These two injuries were consistent, and they looked completely post-mortem. Is with a freezer burn right in the middle of that wound, and that's actually one piece of skin that we did obtain with her body in the body pouch when she came to the office. Actually, there's kind of a slice cut out, and came with it. There's a freezer burn in the middle, and then it's consistent with as her body was taken out of the freezer. That's where she was stuck, leaning to the left, stuck to the side of the freezer, so had to be cut out in order to.
Yeah, she deserved death
so that
too.
seemed to be post-mortem at the time of extrication from the freezer, and it was a large wound there, 7 inches on the side of the arm. And the reason how we know that piece of skin matched is because that was one of the tattoos that is there. Actually, the outline of the tattoo matched the defect. And then there were 3.
So that's where they cut out her tattoo with a cross.
Wounds. Now these are kind of interesting wounds because they're running diagonally across the forearm. They were parallel, so they almost have a pattern to them, and they were like less than ½ inch apart. They're pretty long, and they appear to be described as a perimortem. There is some reaction to it, so it looks like there are 3 scratches. Whenever we see something that has a vital reaction, that it's an incised wound, and actually one of the upper wounds had a defect that was like a real cut into the skin subcutaneous tissue. That is consistent with the defense injuries, so that when an individual can raise the hand to protect face, and then that's where we find defense injuries, sharp force injuries, blunt force injuries. That's where we frequently find them. So that's those 3 incised wounds. And then there's also a wound on the dorsal, or actually lateral. When we say on the extremity something is medial lateral, then we are talking about the ideal anatomic position of the body. So that would be medial, and this would be lateral. So in this particular case, there is a superficial incised wound on the lateral aspect of the wrist dorsally. And there are slicing injuries on the dorsal surface of the hand. So there were 3 cuts on the back of the hand that appear to be perimortem, meaning that there's kind of hint of vital reaction around it, and the sharp object.
They abused every part of this woman.
Of the left hand. And then also there is what is described as a laceration stab wound on the medial aspect of the elbow. So that definitely looked like a deeper cut, and it's on the inside medial aspect on the inside of the elbow, and involved the skin subcutaneous tissue. And that's actually the one that did have hemorrhage around it. So that appeared to be more like an antemortem, meaning there's some circulation happening with this wound. And in the photograph, you can see that. So that would be left upper extremity. The right upper extremity had a slicing injury over the anterior aspect of the upper arm. And that's the...
Look at the bailiff. He's like,
kind of angled cut that would be in this area. And then there's a 4-inch area of slicing injury, similar to what we saw on the left shoulder and left arm. And that was over the, what we call ventrolateral aspect of the upper arm of the cubital fossa. And that would be in ventrolateral, in this area. These are the sharp force injuries on the extremities. Now, the chest is what's called thorax in this situation is interesting because unlike
He don't even look like he in his chair, huh?
These injuries where most of it was kind of like a cuts and a sliced injury, there was injury that looked like a slicing injury over the sternum and left clavicle.
He might have came down off the bench so he can see everything. Welcome back to the Little Lane Jury Box, Joy. They found him guilty and sentenced him to lethal injection. We went back to see the autopsy
area
report.
Around the mid chest, left of the midline. And these looked all post-mortem. So the chest looked mostly post-mortem. And then the left breast actually had, I think, the most interesting injury because unlike the rest of the injuries, had a pattern to it. What I mean by pattern, unlike, let's say, that left arm, there was a geographic slice taken out, cut out. This particular area that involved the nipple and areola, it was actually almost like a stellate. And if one would look at the
well put, Joy.
It had almost like a pinwheel appearance. It was almost like multiple cuts were made around it, and then finally the slice taken out. So that was the left breast area. It was post-mortem. There's no circulation. There's no vital reaction, but there's a pattern to it. It looks like there was part of the skin with the areola nipple was cut out kind of on purpose, not just haphazardly.
Damn, they cut off a nipple to play with it. Oh my God.
Small wounds on the rest of the breast tissue kind of surrounding it. And that was more kind of haphazard pattern that appeared post-mortem. I'll just put it on the side here. And then there were on the right breast, there was actually a cluster of injuries that looked like a cuts. It looks like the pattern was started, like there were several kind of radiating cuts, like it's going to start in the pattern of pinwheel, but no, it was never finished. So that would be on the left breast. So that nipple and areola was still there. And then there were some irregular areas with superficial incised wounds on the right side. That would be actually kind of lower chest that had interrupted pattern, and they were kind of more.
Oh my God! Do y'all think they did something to her vaginal area? Y'all think they did something to her private parts?
And then so one thing about the chest, all of these, they're around the breast, kind of clavicle, sternum, mid chest, left breast. There are kind of multiple. So this doesn't mean it's just one. It means like a cluster of little wounds all kind of grouped together. Finally, on the abdomen, there were slicing injuries. They were relatively deep, and there were. It was hard to interpret. The only interpretation that I could really put to them that are post-mortem. None of them had a vital reaction, but they appeared haphazard, but they were deep, and that was kind of unusual. So there was a wound on the upper abdomen in the midline. That would be kind of abdomen kind of starts with what we call epigastric region here. And then there was the area of a sliced injury to the right of the midline on the upper abdomen. That would be in this region here. And then there was a really large area of slicing injury. It reminded me of the injuries on the right breast. They were deep, but they were relatively haphazard. So there was no particular pattern to it. And there were a couple of areas on the left abdomen like that. And
so we got a couple of properties,
8
huh?
inches. There was another area close to the pelvis, lower down. There was also slightly over 8 inches, and they're pretty much clusters of a couple of different injuries, but some of the slices were really, really deep and undermining skin and subcutaneous tissue going deep under. So that would be the abdomen. And finally, there was a left side of the abdomen that would be another cut with a flap. So there were a couple of injuries that, again, as I said, there was a cluster of really unusual injuries that undermined the pattern that created a skin flap. So it almost like attempted to remove the slice, but it didn't finish it. And then there was the actually superficial wound right over the belly button. And then finally, there was an aggregate over the iliac crest, that to the pelvic region. And that's the last cluster that measured the aggregate 6 inches in the greatest dimension. So that's sharp force injury, mostly centered or clustered in the upper body. Ligature marks, there were 5 ligature marks that kind of overlapped.
Oh, so they didn't cut down deep.
And they were
like
distinguishable. Altogether, their width was about 1 inch. The whole cluster would be those 5 different ligature marks, because some of it were overlapping about 1 inch, but each ligature mark was approximately 1/4 inch. And they were relatively consistently applied across the front of the neck and the sides of the neck, and then the pattern kind of fades away, and then
It's ridiculous.
Effect, meaning that the ligature was relatively narrow. Could it be rope? Could it be shoelace? Could it be anything that is relatively narrow like that? It was tightly applied to abrade the skin, because after freezing, all of that skin became, in the ligature fur, became really dark brown, dark black brown. And then on the back, it ran mostly, very, very slightly upward, but mostly horizontal, which is pretty typical for strangulation versus hanging, where it's the upward pattern.
He probably reliving everything he did to her as he point out everything. What y'all think?
Device that was used to kind of tighten it, or maybe their hands were there to tighten it, and that's why the pattern was interrupted in the back to tighten the ligature around the neck. One thing I could not really tell after the freezing artifact set in is whether 5 different separate applications of strangulation are finally, because not every person always dies immediately, or it was just the 5 times that was kind of the 5. The cord was created in such a fashion. There were 5 different
Judge,
separate.
I'm object. I think she's kind of speculating now about what could be.
Go ahead.
So that's the ligature mark, and there was hemorrhage underneath, meaning that she was alive, and that was listed as her cause of death because the circulation to the head and the brain was interrupted. And then finally, last category is blunt force injuries.
Yes, we will.
So the only one that we won't mark is actually ligature pattern, and that's 1 inch wide across the front and side of the neck. And then finally, blunt force injuries, there is the
And she's still
Now,
going.
laceration can look like a cut, like a sharp force injury, but the main difference between the laceration and cut is that when you separate the margins, actually there's a bridging of the tissue, meaning that the blunt object struck the surface and then split the skin, and that means that it looks like a cut, but actually there is a splitting and then it's separating, and then some of the tissue, especially the vessels, can resist the splitting, and then that's what creates bridging. And then frequently that, unlike the stab wounds or sharp force injury, there's a relatively small amount of hemorrhage around them. The blunt force trauma is associated with the bigger bruise underneath.
Yeah, because she ratted
Or in
him
this
out.
report, actually,
Oh, simple Simon. Rebecca wasn't too damn dumb, was she?
Ecchymosis, that pretty much applies to the blunt force trauma.
And we have black markers to note each injury blunt force wise.
So there was a horizontally oriented laceration on the left forehead, and in one of the images, that is antemortem, she's alive, and there is a large bruise associated with it. There was no skull fracture, but there is a bruising under the scalp that goes all the way to the bone. There is also ecchymosis, that's a term used, but that's actually bruising on the chin. And on both sides of the chin, there were these ecchymosis. There were actually some abrasion with the types of the blunt force trauma is bruise, contusion, ecchymosis, the Dr. Oliver used, abrasion, that's scrape of the skin in addition to the bruise, and that's on the right side of the chin, kind of almost submental. And the left side of the chin, they were almost symmetrical. And she was alive. So that means that this bruising can happen only if she is alive, when the either her chin hits something or the object hits the under the chin. And then there were
This might be the bruises.
there was actually close to the midline. It says actually abrasion, almost like it was a typo, but it's actually laceration, and it's in one of the images. It's similar to this wound. It's a splitting of the skin, and then on the back of the head. So that's laceration too. The back has ecchymosis over the mid-back on the left side, and the abrasion. So that means that it's the surface of the skin is scraped. That's also under blunt force trauma. There is a mid-back on the left. So there's a bruising essentially on the middle of the back. And then there's also abrasion over the buttocks. It kind of encircles the area of the buttocks, but because of the superimposed recent burns, there in some of the images, they're hard to actually discern, but they're on both sides. So there are abrasions. And then we have left upper extremity, forearm, and upper arm. So the term that you'll see in the report is interrupted, which means that there were several areas.
Y'all are
where
very
you see
insightful.
the bruising,
Very
kind of
good.
sparing in between.
Very good,
Interrupted pattern actually means that shape means that there's a pattern to it. So there's an object. If an object strikes the surface, then it's going to kind of push the blood to the sides, and then the small vessels in the skin subcutaneous tissue can burst from that influx of blood toward the sides. So that interrupted pattern actually means that the object that struck the skin, we can kind of measure that area of blanching, and it's even more pronounced on the right arm, and you see them on the photographs. So that's actually interrupted pattern that we see on the arm and the forearm on the left side. And the in the area of the antecubital fossa, actually, that is the largest area of bruising on the left extremity, and that's done on the inside, close to this particular area where there
She's
was
still pointing out bruises, right?
Big cut.
And that's not me. I'm on mute. That's not me. That's not me, Betty Boo. But she's still pointing out bruises, and we got to remember.
I don't consider it trauma necessarily. That could be just the postmortem change, because one thing that starts happening.
She's still pointing out bruises, and I think it's very important to point out that when she was, hey, lady, when she was sitting on the stand, she said it was 2 minutes to count. So these are the bruises and abrasions and the cuts that she was able to count and label. Okay. Tiki say, is she the only one who believe Rebecca?
Now on frozen is that now that
I don't believe her ass.
And marbling actually can be a reflection of
I
that.
think she did more.
I won't even count in the blunt force trauma. And then we have right upper extremities. There are scattered ecchymosis on the lateral and anterior arm. And actually there is one on the shoulder that doesn't really have any particular shape, but there is one really interesting bruise on the right arm that has like almost like a capital letter E pattern, meaning that that's exactly the injury that we can measure now, the blanching, and that would reflect the size of the width of the object that struck the skin. That also means that she's alive. So blunt force trauma that we can register, record, and measure means that she is alive and that happened. So that's all antemortem. Unlike many of the cuts, blunt force trauma is antemortem. And then the interrupted curvilinear abrasion on the forearm, antecubital fossa, that's on the right upper extremity, that will be here. And also we have the abrasion on the shoulder area, right here. And then we also have the interrupted ecchymosis on the ventral aspect of the wrist.
I'm getting more depressed doing this testimony than any of the other trials. I'm getting depressed because she's still going with injuries. What's up, chill out? Wow.
And then make sure that I have not skipped anything, is the distal forearm, ventromedial aspect. And then there's the broad area of ecchymosis on the right hand. Make sure that I have that correctly. Ventromedial distal forearm. and then the left hand actually had a kind of confluent bruising. Now, anything that is on the back of the hand, frequently in my reports, I would say that the forearms and hands are consistent with the defense injury. That's kind of typical for blunt and sharp force trauma. Right lower extremity, now there's a mention of hyperemia. Hyperemia in general doesn't really mean necessarily bruise. They can actually be kind of a combination of postmortem position and potentially injury. But there is actually a geographic abrasion that is on the anteromedial aspect of the thigh, and that would be in this particular area. One issue with the blunt force trauma and the legs is there was a lot of settling of the lividity right there.
See, Betty Boop, I'm on mute. That's not me.
And that actually can confound some of the measurements.
The big black balls indicate blood force.
Moses were on the anteromedial.
The red ones is cut.
Similar to the right side. And then there was actually a lateral hip ecchymosis. Let's see. And that would be the left lower extremity. So we have, and then there was actually a large area that shows in the photograph the bruising in the patella, and that would be the knee region on the right side. So region of the patella on the right lower extremities, anteromedial right thigh, the ecchymosis on the left thigh, and then ecchymosis on the lateral aspect of the hip and thigh, and that was around 7 inches. And then finally, internal injuries. I already mentioned that the internal injuries are a reflection of antemortem trauma, and mainly they were present in the area of the lacerations on the forehead and the back of the head. Neck was the strangulation and the incised wound.
Girl, Betty Boop, that's okay. I often get mistaken for making weird noises during one of the trials, the Quentin Nixon trial, girl. They thought that was me heavy breathing like I was asleep, and that was the I think it was the judge, or was it the witness? Child, Demetra always get the blame. Always get the blame. Hold on. Let me push it back on.
That were associated, and I believe that's the main area of hemorrhage in the tissue, meaning seen internal when you open the body.
Thank you for your return. Judge, if we'll wait until after the
Lord,
witness
have
is done
mercy.
before we take the photos, or do you want Agent Hannah to do that right now?
So, this is why, even though let me tell y'all, I felt bad, not for him, but about the death penalty, right? And it's so final. But if it's anybody who deserved the death penalty, this is one of them cases. They was cruel. This was cruel and unusual punishment, right? If you want to talk about overkill, if overkill was a mannequin, right? But this mannequin represent Jennifer Paxton, a real live person, 36 years old, 7 children. Even though her children wasn't in her custody, it's because she lived a life, unfortunately, of an indigent, homeless, drug addict who did whatever was necessary on them streets to survive and to feed her habit. Nobody deserved this type of treatment. And then to go on afterwards and continue. You know, the humiliation, the murder, the torture, everything, that wasn't enough. Even in death, she couldn't have no dignity. Even in death, they continue to brutalize her, victimize her. And that's the cold part, right? So even if her children not with her, wasn't with her, they know this ain't mama. They know what done happened to her. It's a very, 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 very sad case indeed, even in death. Horrible. So I told you guys, baby, when I told y'all this was gonna be one for the books, I think it was one for the books, right? As far as this Tennessee versus Sean Finnegan, he absolutely has been found guilty and sent off for the death penalty. Oh, I got some comments that I wanted to go back to. Hold on. So Tiki said Rebecca wouldn't have been involved in the killing at whatever level. She was involved if not for Sean's actions. Rebecca a tricky hoe, but she ain't a killer. Winter says, whether we know or not if he was the one that actually committed the final act or not, the portion we know that he did was just as gruesome. So yes, I expected it, the death penalty. Now, it seems to be just like the actual real court, how they said yesterday during the closing arguments, everything was centered around Rebecca. The same thing happening here in the Lit Lane jury box, right? And I'm gonna just say this for what Tiki said. No, let's bring a conversation. I feel personally, y'all let me know. Y'all ever watch Couples That Kill? If anybody ever watched Couples That Kill on ID channel, they'll point out and they'll talk about these couples, a man and woman, and blah, 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 and they get into all these crime sprees and stuff like that, and murdering people. And they quite often say how in that couple, in that dynamic, separately, neither one of them would have gone to the extent of their crime. They talk about how they both got these different personality traits and this different type of perversions in them, but it goes untapped into, they might do a little bit, it's a little superficial, right? But when they get together, it exacerbates. Yeah, I use that. It exacerbates the issues that both of them have. So I don't think that Sean Finnegan would have done this without Rebecca. I don't think Rebecca would have done it without Sean. But I do believe that Rebecca would have participated the same manner and way with anybody that she was over there feeding off of, living off of, parasiting off of. I believe that. Because Rebecca was willing to do anything to any lengths as long as she was taken care of and been able to do what she wanted to do, which was nothing. Joy said there was a series that featured killer couples, and the running theme was, had it not been for the meeting, right? I read Rebecca as a victim of circumstances, and it's hard for me to see her as an accomplice. Baby, like they said, the 12-step programs keep coming back. Yes, I watched those. Yeah, I watched those. You know what I'm saying, girl? I was thinking that as you was talking. Killer couples, the dynamic duos, right? Exactly. They feed off each other. Right. So they see each other crazy and multiply it. Right. Because you got somebody, think about it. You got somebody who, when you had that crazy idea, you can literally express it to them, right? And not only are they not going to judge you, but they're going to be like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do it. I'll do it with you. It's kind of like on the flip side of it, right? On the good side of it, right? You meet somebody, I meet somebody who I always want to, I'm adventurous, right? This is absolutely just a example. I'm a thrill seeker, right? And yeah, I do a little bit of here. I like to ride the roller coasters. I like to ride the little bungee jump thing at the rodeo. But that's about it. I don't really get to do, you know what I'm saying? I haven't really just done the other thing, and I can't find nobody to go with me, right? And then I meet this guy, and he's a thrill seeker too, come to find out. And we talk about things, we do some of the smaller things, and then I know I can say to him, hey, you want to go skydiving out of a plane? I couldn't say that to a whole bunch of other people because I already know they're going to be like, oh, hell no. Oh, nah, you crazy? Oh, hell no. You going by yourself? What's wrong with you? But I know I can say this to him, and he going to be like, hell yeah, when we going? Hell yeah, when we going? I'll jump first. Boom. I got somebody who I can, you know what I'm saying? You like that analogy, Tika, girl? I tried, girl. I tried. Oh, Livy, you skydive? Girl, you can't get me to skydive off the bed, okay? And I got a high bed. My bed too high. No. I'm not skydiving off no bed. I mean, I'm talking about no bed. So obviously, I'm not skydiving off the bed and definitely not out of no plane. Period. I wouldn't even bungee jump. I don't even like roller coasters. I'm not into all that. That analogy was simply an analogy. It was a hypothetical. Look at how, even with all that was done, there was no actual DNA found on any weapon or anything else that was used. Only the victim's DNA. That comes from practice or extensive research on how, to pull that off. Practice. Well, at the beginning of this trial, Little Lane jury box was absolutely saying that it probably years down the line, it's going to be found out that he had more victims. How would they go about finding it? They would go about finding it going to go back and research any former places that he lived, right? Compared to crimes, compared to missing persons, maybe even search like, you know what I'm saying? That's how they would find them on TV. Went to say, look out. Oh, no, I read it. It was amazing. Girl, I'm glad you had that amazing experience. Okay. You got a video of it? You ought to send it to me so we can play it, girl, so I can be like, Did you videotape it while you were doing it? Betty Boop say the evil was in both of them. Both are demonic, right? People always give women a pass. I ain't giving her ass nothing. Because some have had a hard time thinking that some women are evil. They still think women are nurturing. Yeah, right. Some women eat their young. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, people think of women as being the loving exactly. You said exactly right. Living my best life. That is so amazing. I got control issues. I got scary issues. Your mind in the gutter. Who man? To pull that off, practice. So Winter think that he a serial killer, but we just don't know yet. Jill say, I ain't skydiving either. Girl, heck no. Jill, you scared of a bug. Okay, so you don't even, girl, we already know. Me and you gonna sit there and hold people's purse while they go skydiving. I'll be like, let me hold your purse. I got you. If you go back, I answered your question about the cuts and I could tell a difference. Okay, I will go back and I read them, but I'm gonna go back. And I thought it made sense too. And if he's picking women of the night, then that's going to be even harder to connect them to. Right. Yes, they did. I will try to find it. Yeah, try to find it. That way you can send it to me and we can look at it, girl. I do give, and if you need me like to edit, send it to me. I'll do it and then I can edit out like, if you want me to edit something out of it. I do give the women folk a pass. No, I ain't giving none of them hoes no pass. Yes, diving out of the bed. I agree with Winter. I think he got bodies on bodies on bodies, right? I agree. He did this before. So you best believe they probably searching. Now, let me go up to where Winter said, her and Betty Boop really got into this deal. Rebecca's backside. He has traits of a serial killer that will collect body parts as souvenirs. Hold on. Hold on. I didn't see this. She had too many opportunities to escape. Oh, I fucked it up. She had too many opportunities to escape. She only left because the thrill was gone. There was nothing else to do to the victim. Right. Rebecca was full of it. She was into that kinky stuff. She was into that disgusting stuff. Hold on. Correct. Joy Barnes. Cutter normally. Wait a minute. Correct, Joy Barnes. Cutters normally. Wait a minute. Cutters normally know exactly how deep to cut, although sometimes rarely get cut too deep, depending on how they feeling. Right. Wait a minute. So, okay, here we go. So Winter said right here. She said a little bit over that. Right here. I can kind of tell which one of them made each cut. And I say, give me an example, Winter. Winter says, sure. Okay. Winter says, the majority of the ones like the nose, nipple, and carving or pattern types were done by him. Joy says, I agree, Winter. She was a cutter, so she would know how deep to cut to cause pains and not risk death. And then Winter completes and says, the slashing type ones, at least some, were done by her. And I think that makes sense. And you got to remember, and you said that, I do believe, before she even, the medical examiner, I believe you said that, y'all both said that even before the medical examiner got to where they showed how her breast was cut almost artistically, right? Like literally the way they cut around. Who ain't it skydived on her 70? Girl, But they cut around her breast and cut off her nipple. And then the medical examiner said they started to do the same thing to the right breast, but for some kind of way they got interrupted. So this was real gruesome, y'all. This was a gruesome, appalling trial. But we got through it, and it actually came for gave a lot of conversation and a lot of thought. We had to give into this trial to see what was going on. I didn't think we was gonna take this time, but we took an hour and 34 minutes. I want to show y'all something. I'm going to show y'all something because, quite honestly, I gotta show y'all, because if I don't show y'all, I'm going to watch it by myself, and then y'all not gonna see it. So I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all. One moment. Talk amongst each other itself. Talk amongst yourselves. Let me see. What's her name? What was her name? Oh, well, I just go Court TV. This finna trip y'all out. I only saw like a little bit, but I wanted to watch it with you guys. We'll watch just the short version, not the whole one. Let me see. Oh, hold on. Okay. Hold on. Okay. So, great job, Little Ranger. Great job. Y'all only got out of hand. Y'all only got just thrown off one night. One night, y'all just got totally buck wild. Okay. Now, this was the. Oh, y'all talk about yourself. Oh. Me too, living, right? Give me 1 second, y'all. I'll be right. Give me like 2 minutes. I'll be right back. Sorry. Okay, I'm back. Thank y'all for letting me get up for a second. So this was the Burn Powell trial. This lady, the wife, Melody Ferris, was accused of shooting her husband and burning his body on the wood pile, the burn pile. I talked about this a couple of times and talked about how it was a big family and how it was just so messy because the husband was having affairs, she was having affairs. One of her boyfriends, they had like two of the guys that she had affairs with testify. The kids was on there and they were blaming each other. They had money. He was a lawyer, the husband, the deceased. So they found her guilty. They just had the sentencing, right? They just did the sentencing. So this is the defendant speaking. She didn't testify. So the defendant, who they just found guilty, is going to speak. And baby, I'm just going to already tell y'all, because I already said it earlier. She literally said that the son killed the husband. Okay? This like some TV shit. I just watched like a minute or two of it, and I didn't even get to that part because I wanted to watch it with you guys. So let's see.
All right, Ms. Ferris, if you have a statement.
I do.
All right.
I've written.
Damn. I think they took her teeth. Damn, I think they must have took her teeth. And if I show y'all how she looked about a month ago at the beginning of this trial, since they just found her guilty, she looks like she has aged about 30 fucking years since last week. Wow. And then it looked like they took her good teeth. Girl. Y'all, we might have to watch this trial in 2025, baby, because it was scandalous.
Written this so that I could get through the words.
Okay.
On July, 5 months ago today, began the worst nightmare that I could have ever imagined. Not only my world, but my family's world was absolutely destroyed at the hands of one person. I've had 6+ years of being told not to talk. Don't say that. Take legal advice. I could walk out of this courtroom today.
That's one of the sons.
And drop
That's
over
one
dead.
of the sons.
I want to make sure that my children, my grandchildren, and Gary's family, and to be honest, at this point in time, the entire world who has viewed this. I have waited for years to make this statement to everyone. I want the world to know who did this. I have always heard that the courtroom is the last place you're going to get the truth. And has that ever been proven to be the truth in this case? Not only did I not do this, I know who did. I know Scott killed his father.
Child.
He took my husband.
Baby, there goes Scott, the son. Okay? Let me be quiet, bitch. This is like TV, okay? Oh my God.
The father of Chris, Emily, and Amanda. He took Big Daddy from our grandchildren, Ella, Addison, Olivia, Jax, and James. 3 of them who never got to know Gary. Scott, this is unforgivable. Scott has spent an entire life of loving and protecting you, but this I refuse to cover for you. My mother.
Not cut her mic off. Now he want her to cut off the mic, bitch. He talking about cut the mic. And not only is she keep repeating his goddamn name, now it looks like she finna turn around and say, yeah, you motherfucker, did I stutter? Yeah, you. Child. Live reaction.
Your mom begged me to take the blame for this. She said after she talked to you, after Gary died, that she knew you had done it. Her exact words were, you are his mother. You have to take blame for this. And I told her no, that I couldn't. I still have 3 other children, grandchildren, and this is not a stolen credit card, a check, or a diamond ring that you've pawned, all of which you have done. I saw you coming from that burn pile the morning of July the 5th in your truck. You told me that you were checking on the fire to make sure that it wasn't going to get the woods on fire. You told me it was okay. I asked you a few weeks later why you were at that burn pile in your truck. And you told me that your dad had told you to clean up the extra wood that was by the barn. I told Hayes that I had seen Scott that morning coming from the burn pile. So, Hayes, where is that recording? I want to know. You told me there was multiple recorders. You did, but you sat here in this courtroom and you told this court that you didn't tell anybody about recorders, but you did.
Baby, she is straight motherfucking gangster. Oh my God, she is so gangster. Look how she got everybody's face broke up in that bitch. Everybody up in there like, what? At this point in time, she's so goddamn gangster. At this point, she is so gangster that she got people up in that motherfucker trembling. Everybody in there right now holding their motherfucking breath because they don't know if she gonna goddamn say something to them. What's up, Lady T? What's up, Uppity? They found Finnegan guilty and sentenced him to death. Baby, we watching right now. I had to show Lit Lane this shit here. This happened today. They sentenced this woman accused of killing her husband, and they found her guilty. This is her speaking for the first time. And baby, she going off the motherfucking rails. She said that boy right there with the white shirt, her son, that she say, Scott, you killed your father. You know you did. Child.
Where is that recording in the interview? You, Scott, immediately started saying that there was a gun missing, a gun that nobody knew about. You never mentioned before. I asked you more days than not where your dad was, and this was the first time you ever had that response. There's a gun missing. You should have you did start immediately spinning your story. When you found out that Addison and Cameron were there the night before, you got so angry. Now,
Wait a minute. Both of them her son. Look at them. The one with the black leather jacket, the one back there with the white shirt. They look just the fuck alike. I don't know which one is goddamn Scott. One of them motherfuckers is Scott. Okay? These are sons. Baby, no, Lady T. Baby. Ooh, y'all, this is so good. This is like TV. We gotta watch this trial because that trial was scandalous, baby. She had affairs. He was a $1 million husband. But, let's go.
Now I know why. When I went to feed the baby goat the morning that...
Your Honor, I'm not objecting at this point.
Let her talk. Let her cook.
Her statement needs to not be about that.
Right. Well,
let her cook.
Ms. Ferris,
let her cook.
Really not supposed to go into the evidence of this phase of the case. And what I typically do is if the defendant wants to go into the facts of the case, I'm going to allow the state to cross-examine or ask questions, which I don't really anticipate you want to do.
I would just ask to
But
Closed, actually.
your statements needs to be constrained to the punishment, and if there's things you want to talk about in relation to that and how I should sentence you, I don't have a problem if you want to continue to profess your innocence, but we're not going to go on for a significant period of time. You resuscitate your view of the case and your opinion as to what the evidence is without your prior testimony and without the state being able to cross-examine it. It's not proper. So I'm going to ask you to restrain your remarks to comply with those directions.
Judge, this needs to be known.
Well,
I'll just ask to respond. Judge.
Woo, she's so gangster, bitch. I like her. Oh my God.
go ahead.
I love her. I'm sorry, but this is so gangster. This is so gangster.
I went to feed the baby goat the morning of July the 5th before I left for the lake. I saw where you had washed out the barn. I later found that several bottles of house wash were missing after this all happened several weeks ago. Now I know why. The photos of your bathroom spotlessly clean. Now I know why. I know why you demanded me to move the tractor that you so were upset about it being in the place. Now I know why. Scott, you called me on July the 4th and asked me what my plans were for the day. And I told you I was going to the lake with Amanda, and you were so glad that I was going. I thought it odd then. Now I know why. I found copies of my birth certificate, your dad's birth certificate, our marriage license in your truck. Now I know why. Scott, I saw Gary going to that barn the night of July the 3rd, right after you got home. And then Scott is going, and I thought then Scott's going to be in trouble for staying at the lake and playing golf all the time. Never in a million years did I ever think that this nightmare was starting then. I told you, Detective Hayes, that I saw Scott going over there to the barn. Where is that in the recording? A bag. I know exactly where and when I was standing. Scott, you put antifreeze under my kitchen sink to set me up for this.
What?
But only you would have known where it was because it was for the Mercedes. When Amanda and I were putting that house back together, you sat in there and watched us like a hawk. Now I know why.
Hey, Miss Juicy. I say Yuzi.
You became so angry when the fire investigator came in July, weeks after this nightmare started. Now I know why you were so angry. Scott, you failed your polygraph test. You recorded meetings
It's got to
at
be
the
Scott.
attorney's office and turned them over to the DA's office. We hired Manny to help us. Emily is the one who used her daddy's credit card to pay for that attorney.
She's spraying everybody.
Scott, you got so angry that your sister Amanda was getting my personal clothes and my personal things to the point that Cherokee County had to be called. That is not the actions of the same person. Scott's anger issues have all been a huge issue. When he was in kindergarten and elementary school, Chris would.
I'm objecting. At this point, she's dragging Scott through the mud and his character. This is not.
She sure is dragging his ass beef sector style, bitch. You goddamn right.
Just wanted to resuscitate facts that were not.
What's up, the simple baby? What's up, Miss Juicy? Hold on.
Give you a chance to respond.
Hold on. The judge is so fucking messy. The judge is so fucking messy. The judge don't want her to stop. The judge like, will y'all stop interrupting her? It's getting good. The prosecutor just said, I object. At this point, she is dragging Scott. Yeah, she is dragging the dog shit out of Scott. Baby, for y'all coming in, they didn't found her guilty. And this her at the sentencing, and she didn't get to speak because against counsel, you know how they say don't speak. Baby, she ready. She say, no, this has to be said. The judge is messy. I love it.
Respond to the extent that you want to and give you closing statement.
I am the mother that was always there for my children, even though they had done things that were wrong. Chris, who took care of your girls and loved them if they were my own, who came and got them off the street when you were acting an absolute fool because they were scared to death, who drove down to Buckhead and got your children.
Now I will tell you, okay, so just to kind of give you some direction. Things that are appropriate, you helping take care of your family, raise your family, those kind of things, what you've done throughout your life, and asking the court to exert some sort of mercy on you, things of that nature are appropriate. So you can talk about those kind of things, but let's don't go into the individual facts or things that haven't been previously presented to the court. Okay? All right, go ahead.
I love Ella and Addison more than life itself. And it was their life or mine. It would be mine in a heartbeat. Emily,
exactly.
who helped you move to and from an apartment and a house in 19-degree weather, even though I knew that you were trying to keep it from me. I was always there for you. I came back to you in Thompson Station after your husband was arrested to care for you and Olivia. I am so sorry that your children will never know their big daddy. Amanda and Chad, words cannot express my gratitude for everything that you've done for me. Thank you so very much. And I was fortunate enough to get to care for James every day since he was 3 weeks old. He is my pride and joy. Love for that little boy is unbelievable. I spent 18 plus months in the Cherokee County Jail over something that I did not do. The last thing, I thought that was the last thing I could do to Gary, for him, to get justice for him. I can remember thinking, it's okay that I sit here. I just want answers. That's all I want. And I still haven't gotten them. And I don't think that I ever will. And that scares me to death. Amanda was the only one of my children that got up here and told the truth. And I thank her for that every day. Judge Cannon, I had so many questions, so many whys. Why were so many things not their task? Why was the barn never checked? I think that would have given us so many answers. Why did they run out of Blue Star? They were on my property for days. I beg of you to get answers. Judge Cannon, I am begging for justice for Gary, for my children, for my grandchildren, for Gary's family. And I am begging that you throw out this verdict. Be the 13th juror. Help us get justice. I did not do this. I promise you on my life, the 18 months that I did in Cherokee County was nothing compared to the last month that I spent in there. Now I know that Cherokee County did not do their job in the investigation. They took Scott's story and ran with it. I know that in my heart, body, and soul, who did this, and I'm begging for help. I'm begging you, Judge Cannon. Please do not send me to prison for something I didn't do.
I think the judge thinks she ain't do
I
it
did not
too.
do this. If I had done this, I would take this charge gladly. If it would bring Gary back, I would gladly go to prison. I do not want to wait years for an appeal. I've waited 6 years and 5 months for justice already, but here we are. Maybe I should have testified, but I listened to legal counsel. I wanted the truth out there, and this is why I am making this statement. I will talk to any and everyone who can help me and my family. I never wanted my family's life to be played out for the world to see. It is a mother's job to protect her children, and I cannot protect the person who did this. We can't replace Gary. That is unforgivable. I promise you to work hand in hand with the DA's office. But what scares me the most is that because of several individuals, so many others in this county that did not do their job, justice will never be done. For the last 6 years and 5 months, my every thought has been consumed with this. No matter what I do, it never leaves. And until you have lived this, nobody can understand. And I would not wish this on anybody. When I heard of the mother of the boy at that Appalachia school shooting, she called to tell that her own son was going to the school with a gun. My heart broke for her. This is a mother's worst nightmare. Judge Cannon, I beg of you for help. As one parent to another, help me get justice for Gary and my family. A mother, or at least not this mother, does not blame her child unless she knows he did it. Not thinks, knows. And I would never sit here and let the attorneys lay blame to him if I didn't know. You have no idea how heart-wrenching,
Good night, Betty Boo.
gut-wrenching this is. John Luke says that I'm the most stoic person he's
Sweetie,
ever met.
it's not letting me. Hold
My
on.
response was,
I don't know. Maybe I can't say death penalty, but I keep trying to type in, Tweety, I keep trying to type you. So what I was typing was the last trial is done. They found him guilty and sentenced him to death by lethal injection. I keep trying to put that in, and it keep streaming. I keep not letting me put that in for you, Tweety. But yeah, I was trying to answer. Didn't want you to think I was ignoring you at all. But baby, this is so juicy. Like Kimmy, Big Head Kimmy say, juicy.
You never know how strong you are until that's your only choice. So before it's said that the only reason I'm telling you this is because I got a guilty verdict. It's not. If it had come back as not guilty, I would have still been begging for justice, for help getting the right person convicted. As soon as I walked out of the courtroom, I promise you I would have done that. Chris, Emily, Amanda, Ella, Addison, Olivia.
She got found guilty for killing her husband, but she said her son did it. She just said her son did it at the sentencing phase. They shot him, then burnt his body up in the fire.
When I say that he is in a better place, because this has been the worst nightmare. It's been hell on earth. knowing that your own son did this. And it's only been by the grace of God that I have survived this last 6 years and 5 months. If I could, I would gladly trade places with Gary. Judge Cannon, I am begging you for help. Please do this for Gary and my family. I have missed years with the people that I love dearly. Help me restore my family. Be the person in Cherokee County that it is their task. I do not want years. I do not want to wait years for justice, years that I may not have. I know this is something that you may never have seen before. And I plead with you to roll this verdict out. Help me get justice for the correct person. As bad as it sounds, I want to be there.
Baby, she
to watch
fight for
him
her
chained
life.
and shackled and brought to justice.
She
I
fight for
plead
her
with you.
freedom, baby.
This is something that I will never recover from. I don't know that my family will ever recover from. Please help me. I'm begging you to restore my faith in the judicial system. I'm begging you, not for me, but for Gary and my children and my grandchildren.
All right, Ms. Frankish, you want to respond to anything?
Very briefly, Judge. When the attorneys had the opportunity to give service, Your Honor was, I believe, present for that. For Scott's sake, they ruled him out in the very beginning of deliberations. Two exhibits to present, and then the family has a few impact statements.
All right.
What y'all thought of
Possibly
that?
just one that they would like me to read into the record.
Square girl, you gonna stand up for me? Huh?
Huh?
Yeah. I know. I know. Square girl.
Anywho, baby, let me tell y'all, I saw a piece of that today. Just a piece, right? And I was like, oh my God. And I wanted to watch it so bad, but I wanted to wait for you guys, right? I just love you guys so much that I had to wait and watch it with you guys. And quite honestly, I should have did that as a separate video, reaction video. I didn't know it was gonna get so goddamn deep, right? So this was deep. This was crazy. This was this not absolutely primetime television type shit. This is like something you read in a Sidney Sheldon novel, right? This was a very Perry Mason moment. This was very fucking TV. Like, it don't get no better than that. And remember how, like, did you see when everybody's face dropped? Her face. Wait a minute. Wait. I'm finna put it when she first said Scott did it. Hold on. Watch out. And then now that we look at it, it looked like he knew what was coming. Hold on. Let me see. Yeah, Tweety, I know you came in late. Watch this part right here. Hold on, y'all. So this is when she get a chance to speak.
2018, 6 years, 5 months ago today.
Shondaland, right?
That I could have ever imagined. Not only my world, but my family's world was absolutely destroyed at the hands of one person.
They took her good teeth, for real.
I've had 6+ years of being told not to talk. Don't say that. Take legal advice. I could walk out of this courtroom today.
They so goddamn messy. They knew already. Somebody up in there say, oh, hell nah, this about to get good than a bitch. Give her the big mic, bitch. Give her the good mic, bitch. You see that shit? They start whispering and shit like, oh, it's about to go down.
And drop over dead. I want to make sure that my children, my grandchildren, and Gary's family, and to be honest, at this point in time, the entire world who has viewed this, I have waited for years to make this statement to everyone.
My God. Let me be quiet.
I want the world to know who did this. I have always heard that the courtroom is the last place you're going to get the truth. And has that ever been proven to be the truth in this case? Not only did I not do this, I know who did. I know Scott killed his father.
Yes, she's serious.
He took my husband, the father of Chris, Emily, and Amanda. He took Big Daddy from our grandchildren, Ella, Addison, Olivia, Jax, and James. 3 of them.
He said, are you serious?
No, Gary. Scott, this is unforgivable. Scott has spent an entire life of loving and protecting you.
Scott was like, bitch, what? He's like, cut on Mike.
My mother, your mom.
Baby, she turned around and looked him dead in the motherfucking face. So right there, she say, my mother, your mom. That's who he called. He must call his grandmother mother. Baby, she said, not only do I know who did it. Scott.
Olivia, Jax, and James. 3 of them who never got to know Gary. Scott, this is unforgivable. Did I not do this? I know who did.
Baby.
I know Scott killed his father. He took my husband, the father of Chris, Emily, and Amanda. He took Big Daddy from our grandchildren, Ella, Addison, Olivia, Jax, and James. 3 of them who never got to know Gary. Scott, this is unforgivable. Scott has spent an entire life of loving and protecting you, but this I refuse to cover for you. My mother, your mom, begged me to take the blame for this. She said after she talked to you, after Gary died, that she knew you had done it. Her exact words were, you are his mother. You have to take blame for this. And I told her no, that I couldn't. I still have 3 other children, grandchildren. And this is not a stolen credit card, a check, or a diamond ring that you've pawned, all of which you have done.
So Scott was a crackhead, right?
Coming from that burn pot in the morning.
Wait a minute. Not only did she say he a murderer, then she pretty much said he a goddamn crackhead, okay? Then she go to talk about the police people. Then she talked about how all her kids got up there and lied and shit. She say Amanda is the only one who told the goddamn truth. Then she also dropped, who else she dropped in the grease, baby? And what she say? She talked about somebody else motherfucking ass by name. She was calling names up in this bitch. She is from the beef sector. Do you hear me? She was calling names. Boom. She talked about Chris left his babies out in the cold and she had to go get him because he was out there acting a motherfucking fool. Okay? must be the one with the white shirt on. He look like he'll leave his kids out in the goddamn cold while he doing the fucking food.
A lot of it.
That motherfuckers.
You told me that you were checking on the fire to make sure that it wasn't going to get the woods on fire. You told me it was okay. I asked you a few weeks later why you were at that burn pile in your truck. And you told me that your dad had told you to clean up the extra wood that was by the barn. I told Hayes that I had seen Scott that morning coming from the burn pile. So, Hayes, where is that recording? I want to know.
Girl, who is Hayes?
You told me there was multiple recorders. You
lying
did. You
ass.
sat here in this courtroom and you told this court that you didn't tell anybody about recorders, but you did.
Oh, lying ass Hayes. Who is Hayes? Put the camera
Where
on
is
Hayes.
that recording in the interview?
Put the motherfucking camera on Hayes. I wants to see who Hayes lying ass is, and I wants to know where the fuck is them other recordings. I believe this lady. Oh yeah, we definitely gonna watch this trial, baby. She addressing everybody. And look here, I think she ought to say something about this woman right here with them glasses on with that dark hair. You already know she must be an in-law or something. She up there smirking and shit. I think all these motherfuckers is in on it, period. Because the daddy was a millionaire lawyer. Scott looking, no, I think this one right here is Chris. I don't think this Hayes right here. You think the woman with the what? Baby, we got to watch this trial. Papa was a Rolling Stone. Okay, y'all, let me see. Let's let her talk about Chris ass.
You, Scott, immediately started saying that there was a gun missing.
They look like twins.
A gun that nobody knew about.
Yeah, how you
never
know that?
mentioned before. I asked you more days than not where your dad was, and this was the first time you ever had that response. There's a gun missing. You should have you did start immediately spinning your story when you found out that Addison and Cameron were there the night before. You got so angry. Now I know why. When I went to see the baby goat the morning
Your Honor, I'm going to object to this point. It's all about facts of the case. You, in fact, misstated. Your statement needs to not be about facts.
Right. Well, Ms. Ferris.
He messy.
Really not supposed to go into the evidence.
That's face like mess.
Phase of the case. And what I typically do is if the defendant wants to go into the facts of the case, I'm going to allow the state to cross-examine or ask questions, which I don't really anticipate you want to do.
I would just ask to close, Judge.
Your statements needs to be constrained to the punishment and
watch this. Watch this. Watch this.
Things you
watch
want to
this.
talk.
After he give her all these warnings, right? And he even say, hey, you may be even subject to cross-examination, right? Watch what she say. I promise you, I do not applaud criminals, but this woman is so fucking gangster. A lot of people would have shut the fuck up right then, right? Not her.
Talk about in relation
Not
to
her.
that and how I should sentence you. I don't have a problem if you want to continue to profess your innocence, but we're not going to go on for a significant period of time. You resuscitate your view of the case and your opinion as to what the evidence is without your prior testimony and without the state being able to cross-examine it. It's not proper. So I'm going to ask you to restrain your remarks to.
Hey, Tracy, not baby kids. I looked up and saw baby kids. I'm like, huh?
Judge, this needs to be known.
Well,
boom. Boom.
I'll just ask to respond, Judge.
All right. All right, go ahead.
She said, let me find my goddamn place. Where was I?
I went to see the baby goat in the morning.
The baby goat.
On July the 5th, before I left for the lake. I saw where you had washed out the barn. I later found that several bottles of house wash were missing after this all happened several weeks ago. Now I know why. The photos of your bathroom spotlessly clean. Now I know why.
She say she know you know she knows Scott dirty as the fuck. Now she know why he cleaned that bathroom for once out of a lifetime.
I know why you demanded me to move the tractor that you so were upset about it being in the place. Now I know why. Scott, you called me on July the 4th and asked me what my plans were for the day. And I told you I was going to the lake with Amanda, and you were so glad that I was going. I thought it odd then. Now I know why. I found copies of my birth certificate, your dad's birth certificate, our marriage license in your truck. Now I know why. Scott, I saw Gary going to that barn the night of July the 3rd, right after you got home. And then Scott is going, and I thought then Scott's going to be in trouble for staying at the lake and playing golf all the time. Never in a million years did I ever think that this nightmare was starting then. I told you.
Them children like, God damn, they gonna really let her do this? Yeah, motherfucker.
Scott going over there to the barn. Where is that in the recording? A bag. I know exactly where and when I was standing.
Okay, we doing this whole trial, y'all.
Antifreeze under my kitchen sink to set me up for this. That only you would have known.
Yeah, she got sentenced,
because
sweetie.
It was for the Mercedes. When Amanda and I were putting that house back together,
she got life in
sat
prison
there and watched us like a hawk. Now I know why. You became so angry when the fire investigator came in July, weeks after this nightmare started. Now I know why you were so angry. Scott, you failed your polygraph test. You recorded meetings at the attorney's office and turned them over to the DA's office. We hired.
Living, I think because, like she said in the beginning, she say her legal counsel told her it would be to her detriment. You know? So I think that's why, because, you know, it'd be one thing if you can go on the stand and just speak without being cross-examined, right? But you can't. That's why a lot of other defendants don't never take the stand. Yeah, it's very good. So did they charge Scott as well? No. I would have said all this on the interrogation. First 48 would have been giving me my coffee by now. Baby, this might be on first 48. You know, they just showed on Dateline, not first 48, Dateline or 2020 or one of them. This is first 48 or Dateline. This will definitely be on there. I already know.
Manny to help us. Emily,
y'all, this so good. I rewatched the whole thing and played it again
to pay for that attorney. Scott, you got so angry that your sister Amanda was getting my personal clothes and my personal things to the point that Cherokee County had to be called. That is not the actions of the same person. Scott's anger issues have all been a huge issue. When he was in kindergarten and elementary school, Chris would.
Babe, look, watch this. At this point, she's dragging. She's dragging for the gods.
This is not.
Ms. Ferris.
Baby, she got to dragging Scott. She was about to tell everything on Scott from the time he was 4 years old. She said Scott been a motherfucking problem since he was born. You know what I'm saying? He came out being a goddamn problem. Period.
I'm going to cut you off if you keep just wanting to resuscitate facts that aren't before the court. And Ms. Frankish, I'll give you a chance to respond to the extent that you want to and give you closing statement.
Tiki said, I wanted to hear, somebody said I wanted to hear about what he did in kindergarten.
I am the mother that was always there for my children,
look,
even though they had done things.
She finna
that
talk
were
about
wrong.
Chris, y'all.
Chris,
Oh,
who took care of your girls and loved them if they were my own, who came and got them off the street.
Off the street, bitch.
When you were acting an absolute fool.
Ooh.
Because they were scared to death. Who drove down to Buckhead
Who?
and got your
Chris,
children?
motherfucker. Oh Lord, that really pissed off.
Now, I'll tell you. Okay, so just to kind of give you some direction. Things that are appropriate, you helping take care of your family, raise your family, those kind of things, what you've done throughout your life, and asking the court to exert some sort of mercy on you.
I snorted. Oh,
Things of that nature are appropriate. So,
oh my God.
Talk about those kind of things.
Hold on. Tracy says Scott pissed in the pool and wrote on the walls. Ow! Miss Juicy Review say Chris the crackhead, huh? That's what I said. That must be a crackhead. Joy say you owe me. She say all the motherfucking kids owe her. Being a mom, why am I taking up for her? Because, girl, let me say, Tiki say, did she say she drove the Bankhead, like where T.I. be? Girl, let's see. Not Bankhead where T.I. and them be, bitch. Hold on, let me see. Not what Chris did again. Chris sound like a crackhead. You mean to tell me he was out there smoking crack with T.I. and them people in the hood?
Family, those kind of things, what you've done throughout your life.
What Chris did again?
And got your.
Oh, she say Bankhead, bitch.
If they were my own. Who came and got them off the street. When you were acting an absolute fool because they were scared to death. Who drove down to Buckhead and got.
I think she said Buckhead. It might be Buckhead. Might have been Buckhead. Let me cut on the closed caption. Hold on, let me see. Hold on. They took her good tea.
Who took care of your girls and loved them if they were my own. Who came and got them off the street. When you were acting an absolute fool because they were scared to death. Who drove down to Buckhead and got your children?
Yeah, Buckhead.
Now, I will tell you.
Baby, so I'm going to end it right here. Y'all, this is the burn pile trial. The burn pile trial. Okay? So we are going to definitely watch this one in 2025 because I think it's very interesting. They got money, multiple kids, good seeds, bad seeds. It got a bunch of stuff about infidelities. One of her lovers, but two of her lovers testified. One of the old ones one dude testified that she had an affair with and broke it off with, right? And then the dude who she was literally dating or having an affair with at the time of the murder, he the one who ended up calling the cops or something like that, right? So it's a lot of moving parts, money, sex, bad kids, right? $1 million attorney. So we definitely gonna get off into this, right? Because we're waiting for the next trial. I'm waiting for is Tanisha, that girl in Florida. You know what I'm saying? I kind of want to. We're gonna watch this one next. We're gonna watch this one next. Okay. This is gonna be our next one because we can watch it and do it kind of slow, and it's gonna be a lot of moving parts. Okay. Oh yeah, this is one of the best. Okay. He didn't want to be an accomplice. Right. The boyfriend. He was like, hell no, I'm not gonna get caught up with your motherfucking ass. You know? We ain't gotta wait till 2025. You know? I just thought y'all might want a break from doing the trial watches. But hey, we ain't gotta wait because it's interesting. And the only reason why I didn't watch, I knew I couldn't keep up with this one at the time it was going on. But we can get started with it and slow piece that thing. You know what I'm saying? Watch this one. We can watch this trial till the end of the year. Oh, y'all, I gotta go to the bathroom. So, okay, y'all, thank y'all for joining me. We finished Sean Finnegan. Find us a short one. I think you're saying find us a short one just in case. You want me to find a short one? Well, I found a short one. I actually found a case that happened today in Georgia that I think is going to be very interesting. I got y'all. Y'all know we come back on Monday for trial night, for trial watch with Demetra. So I will have something for y'all. Okay. All right. So I got to go to the bathroom. Yeah. So good night. We can meet tomorrow and talk about it. Good night, jurors. Lit Lane Jury Box.